All right, finding good line art on this theme of He-Man, Masters of the Universe. The reason we pick a theme is because we want our line art to be sympathetic to each other. We want the lines to feel like they have something in common so that we can mix and match them and it doesn't look like they come from different sources. So if I click at this one, this is a coloring book page. And this is another thing you have to be careful of, right? So this is all like the ways digital image mining can go wrong and often do for beginners. So this can be from a reliable source, like a He-Man source, but it can also be from AI generated pages, right? Nothing on Google Images will tell you if it's AI generated or not. So what you want to do is you want to click on the thumbnail, then you hover over the preview and you'll see how many pixels it is. This is 12 by 18, something like that. And then you want to right click and say open image in new tab. And then I can click on it and zoom in. Now, good news is it fills the screen. And it looks pretty good. There's some weirdness with the face and the hands, but this will be usable. So if you think it's usable, then you're going to right click on it and you're going to say save image as. And then when we get this save image as screen, the default is going to be to downloads. What I want you to get used to doing in this class is whenever you see this navigation for saving, hit Command D to navigate it to the desktop. I don't need to change the name because this is just a source file. It's like tearing a page out of a magazine. It's not my work yet, but it's what we're going to use to create our original work. And then you'll see a download. That's why we use Chrome, so we can see all of our downloads. And you'll see that it's tagged with a PNG. The kind of images we're mostly going to use are JPEGs and PNGs. Those are the two most common raster formats. If we come up against other formats like WebP, like web photo formats, then we'll get to that. Then I want you to click on your desktop, find that image you downloaded, and just move it to the middle of the desktop if you can, or just make sure you know where it is if your desktop is locked to a grid. Then you can close that window, and you can continue your search. I'm going to find one more. Haha. So here's another one. And it looks fun. It says coloring page. I hover over it. It's over 1,000 by 1,000. But if I right click on it and I say open image in new tab, notice how it doesn't fill the screen. So this is a missing tag, right? This is also an AI generated image. Can anyone tell me how they can tell it's an AI generated image and doesn't have the line confidence that we would want? Yeah, a lot of things are wrong with it. The hand is very odd, right? They are melded together at the thigh. So this is some wishful thinking. The faces aren't symmetrical. The wrist is turned backwards, right? Things that don't show believability. Now, in terms of line art, maybe there's nothing wrong with that because we just want to get like a nice fuzzy line. But the problem is because it's low resolution, this is what it looks like. You know, really, really too few pixels for the quality we need. So we have to reject that one. So I'm just looking for one other good source. And it could be fan art like this one. Open image in new tab. It says at least one dimension is big enough, but the tag is wrong. So that happens when someone posts something and then they remove it, right? But Google has already tagged it, and so it only has a reference image of it. So it will say it's over 1,000 pixels, but all they have is the original thumbnail. Because nothing on the internet really dies, it just loses resolution. So yeah, there's a lot to digital image mining, to finding good quality, even on a pretty reliable source material like He-Man. Let's look at the sorceress here. Open image in new tab. Golly. A lot of missing tags here. Open image in new tab. Again, a missing tag. All right, here we go. So this will work, but this is something we're going to be learning about later. You see how their eyes are missing? This is because someone took line art, I believe from a coloring book, right? It was scanned, and then in order to increase the resolution of it, they turned it into a vector. So this is what's called an image traced or a vectorized image. When that happens, the lines become really clean, but kind of thinner line art will get chunked into bigger shapes, right? But vectors do give us very clean lines. This is not a vector image, but it was made from a vector image to be this size. And this is large enough for me because the first thing I do when I collage with line art is I get rid of faces anyway. So I'm going to right click and say save image as, and then save that to the desktop. Remember, you can always hit Command D to navigate it there if it's going somewhere else. Then I'm going to hit Function F11 or just click on my desktop so I can see it and then move these. Now, I've already selected a bunch. I have 4 examples here of good, high quality line art. I'm going to add these 2 additional because you need a minimum of 5 to meet the requirements of this exercise. It's a pass-fail kind of thing, right? And it's always good to have a few extra. So now I'm going to make a new folder within my master folder. This is just to stay organized. Move those things off the desktop into my master folder. And I'm going to label it. This is just how I stay organized, as exercise number 1. And then I'm going to move all of this into it, right? Now, this is one way I like Macs, is you can do a lot of visual organization just within the computer's organizational system, which is called the Finder. And these 3 little dots here, these give you view options. So if you click on those 3 dots within a folder, you say show view options. I can make these icons quite a bit bigger so I can see them clearly without having to open them up. And I can collapse their grid spacing, and I can arrange them by name. That will just fit them in a grid. So all of that is here on any folder under view options. Don't make it the default for all your folders, right? Just make it for what you're viewing. Why did I do that? Well, now I can see them all clearly. I want to make kind of a jumbled arrangement of lines that I like. So I'm going to have a favorite. And so I want to identify what that favorite one is. The one I'll use first. And this is my favorite one. And when I view it, you can see it's good, clear resolution. So now I am ready to get started putting these into Photoshop and compositing them. If you look back at the assignment, this will be the next step, which once you have your line art examples, we are going to use Photoshop, but if you want to practice this from home, you can use this site, photopea.com, to practice all of our Photoshop skills. Unfortunately, it is working today. That would be great. But it's often blocked from our campus signals, so we can't use it in class. But everything I show you in Photoshop, we could also do here. So for instance, if I'm going to open it in Photopea, I'm going to say File, New, and I'm going to name the project with my first name, and then a description, exercise number 1. And then I'm going to change the measurement to inches, and I'm going to make this image 8 inches wide by 10 inches tall. That's our standard minimum size for printing in this class. And then for the pixels per inch, I need it to be at least 300. Right? That is print resolution. And then I say create. Okay, now I'm going to repeat all of that in Photoshop. So if you want to practice this at home, it's the exact same things. File, New. This opens up. I name it my first name, exercise number 1. And I might give it an additional descriptor here, He-Man Jumble. And now, what's the measurement I want? Do I want pixels? No, I want inches. Yeah, the physical world. This is the format of the world, the real world. So 8 inches wide, 10 inches tall, and it says it in the directions. And then how many pixels do I want per inch? All right. I hear 800, I hear 300. I want 300. If I did 800, it would definitely be good enough quality for printing, but my images would have to be really, really stretched beyond their limits, right? Because you would need image files about 3,000 pixels or bigger to work for 800 resolution. Okay, so 8 by 10 by 300, that is the minimum. Now, what I usually do in class on the demos with Photoshop, which is a very powerful program, is I do what I call studio resolution. And this is whenever I do professional work as well. Studio resolution is 50 pixels per inch higher than the discipline minimum, right? So I'm going to do 350. But as long as you do at least 300 by 8 by 10, you're meeting requirements. Now, what's great about Photoshop, especially if you have your rulers set, we did that last class, under settings and units and rulers, you want to make sure it's in inches. And then you hit Command R. Command is next to your spacebar. You'll see the rulers. I can see that it's 8 inches by 10 inches. And then I can also see in the corner here, it says 8 by 10 inches by 350 pixels per inch. That's bigger than 8 by 10 by 300. I'm good to go. Now I'm going to go to my desktop and I'm going to find my favorite image, but I didn't keep it in my desktop. I put it in my folder. So as long as you know where to find them. And I'm going to find my favorite of these. And what am I going to do? I can do a few things. I can drag and drop it into Photoshop, right? Or I can find it. That's why it's easiest is to keep things on the desktop. And I can right click on it and say open with Photoshop. Now if I open it with Photoshop, it will come in a different tab, right? So how do I move this to here? We practiced this last class. What you can do is select all of it, Command A, or select all, and then edit copy, Command C, and then click on your sized format, and then Command V or edit paste to add it in. Okay, notice when I did that, it comes in its original size that almost fills the space. That's because this was larger than 1,000 by 1,000. That's the kind of size and resolution you want. If you want to zoom in, it's Command minus. You have to zoom in quite a bit to start seeing pixels, right? Like 500%. Whereas it's going to print at 100%, so it's nice and clean at that resolution. And you can do Command 0 to fit it all on screen. The other way you do it is to just drag and drop, which is my preferred way. So I'm just going to drag and drop it into Photoshop. Now when you do that, there's a little difference that happens. When it comes in, it gives you what's called a transform box, this blue box around it. That immediately allows you to do things like rotate it, which I want you to play with. So I really like kind of the shoulder and these lines here. I don't really care for all this stuff. And it allows you to scale it, play with its size. So I can make it a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger, and I can move it around. If I right click inside of it, the transform box, I can do warp, which is my favorite free transform. And I can push and pull these lines like they're cookie dough and kind of squeeze it all into my format. Or silly putty, right? And then I hit return. But what's the difference? The difference is now this has this little black box in the layer preview. That means that if I start to try to delete things from it, like this, it won't let